Do you want insight into how I keep up with everything happening in the news? Stick around until the end of this video for an important offer from Ground News. Big news. Big developments as being reported by Rachel Maddow. Unbelievable that Donald Trump just cannot get out of his own way, cannot stop himself from stepping on his own appendage. We'll try to keep it PG. It's tough for me. It's very difficult when talking about Donald Trump. Look, there's all kinds of questions that are still remaining around this reporting. You may have seen it that Rachel Maddow has uncovered through assistance and information from Stormy Daniels and her lawyer that Donald Trump and his team are once again offering hush money to keep her quiet, to keep her silence, to keep her from saying what she knows and what she's experienced firsthand with Donald Trump. And they are trying to use the American legal system to launder a payment to her. Now, look, it is a sordid tale with a lot of details. So what I'm going to do is play for you a slightly longer clip that I normally play. It's roughly 3.5 or 4 minutes long. There'll be a timer in the corner of the video. You can scroll ahead if you've already seen it, but I want you to pay attention to exactly what is at stake and the lengths to which Donald Trump and his team will go in these final days of the campaign to scrape together any advantage they can, up to and including illegal activity, money laundering, and more hush money payments involving this woman from 2016 that they paid $130,000 to keep quiet. Now, the good news, before I cut to the clip here, is that absolutely who knew Stormy Daniels would end up being someone with patriotism running through her veins and ice water as well. Because when you have the power and influence of Donald Trump and the MAGA machine bearing down on you and you instead refuse to play their game, that is strength. That is a formidable spirit. That is patriotism for the country. At the very least, those things are on display here. So watch Rachel Maddow on MSNBC last night break this down and marvel at the sheer audacity of Donald Trump.
Days away from the 2024 election, Rachel Maddow has brand new reporting that Donald Trump has once again been trying to make a deal to keep Stormy Daniels quiet. Rachel Maddow is here with me tonight with a special report. Rachel.
Chris, yeah, I'm as bewildered by this as you are. Thank you for the chance to break this story here. I don't know why I am surprised that this is happening. I will admit to being a little bit bewildered by it as well as a little bit shocked by it, even though none of us should be shocked by anything. But let me lay it out for you. So, as you mentioned, and as we all know, Trump was convicted earlier this year, 34 felonies, after he paid Stormy Daniels to be quiet. He paid her 11 days before the 2016 election to not talk about her, what she described as her unpleasant experience having sex with him. He paid her so voters would not know about that when they went to vote in 2016. Well, now we have just learned, we have reported out 20 days, here it is, 20 days before this election, we can report that he is once again trying to pay Stormy Daniels to be quiet ahead of this next election. Here's how we came to it. After Stormy Daniels testified in Trump's criminal trial earlier this year, where Trump was convicted, you might remember she came and did kind of a blockbuster interview here on MSNBC. And in anticipation of that interview, expecting that it might have a big impact, Ms. Daniels set up a GoFundMe to try to crowdfund some of the hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees that she still owed to Trump at the end of the multiple legal cases she had ended up in with him, including, you might remember, an ill-fated defamation case that was filed by her now imprisoned lawyer. Anyway, big mess. She owed him hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that GoFundMe actually did raise enough money for her to pay it off, which is a very big deal for her. That's a life-changing thing. So she's got the money to pay him off. She does owe him the money. Her lawyers start having a back and forth with Trump's lawyers about finalizing the exact amount of the payment. And there is a little arithmetic and negotiation that has to happen there. For example, there's interest that accrues on the original amount. So the two sides have to work out how long it's been accruing interest and what the exact amount down to the penny will need to be paid depending on which exact day you pay. I mean, it's normal for there to be some back and forth about that. It's normal for there to be some disagreement. Trump's side at one point was demanding around $652,000. Stormy Daniels' side was saying they thought it should be closer to $600,000. So they had to work all this out. At this point, Stormy Daniels is looking forward to having it all over and done with, bringing the whole saga with her and Trump to a close. When it comes time for Stormy Daniels' lawyer to call her and give her the final amount, she decides to film the call. Because this is a big moment in her life, right? She's expecting to hear from her lawyer on this call, Stormy, here's the amount, we've agreed, we're sending the wire tomorrow, and then congratulations, Stormy, it is done, you're officially done, Donald Trump is out of your life. She is expecting this to be a cinematic moment, a big deal in her life, and so she decides to film it. Phone rings, she puts it on speakerphone, and she films it. But what her lawyer is calling to tell her is not what she's expecting. Watch.
What we're going to say in the future. That's no way. No, I can't let you do that. So he's like, okay, I got to get back with him, So they want to cut some kind of deal where they silence you.
Don't they know that won't work?
It's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen.
We had to bleep a little swearing there. But what her lawyer tells her is they want to cut some sort of deal where they silence you. In the midst of this negotiation over paying off the last legal settlement between them, Trump is trying to get another hush money deal with Stormy Daniels ahead of this election.
Remarkable. And Stormy Daniels did not make the deal, refused to play ball with these criminals, with this skeevy, greasy, just disgusting, super wealthy guy who wants to get his way by virtue of the fact that he's rich, trying to silence people. She said, nah, I'm not into that. You have rallied your supporters to threaten my life. I'm not going to play games with you. I'm, for one, am absolutely here for it. What do you think about this? Certainly, this story is going to develop. More facts are going to become known. Eventually, the Trump camp is going to have to make a statement on it. We'll see what that is. But they got the receipts here. There are emails, there are quotes, there are certifiable things. We'll see. You can comment below with what your opinion is. I invite you to this conversation. You can also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I am on the social media at Dollemore if you want to follow me there. And if you want to support this work, you can become a channel member or go to my Patreon or stick around for a great offer from the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. If Trump is reelected, he has made it clear in this Truth Social post that he is intent upon revenge against anyone who questions him. It's one of the many recent examples of his dangerous authoritarian mindset and his plans for a future where public dissent is not met with debate, but with prison time. As you might guess, few, if any, right-wing outlets are covering news items like this. And if they are, it's someone like belligerent Ben Shapiro boosting for dropout Doug Burgum in North Dakota. Meanwhile, an independent outlet like Mother Jones is calling it what it is: voter suppression as designed by Project 2025. To say nothing of the spectrum of takes on social media platforms like Trump's, they all serve someone's agenda. Where is the best place to get a clear view of the various angles on a story and cut through the noise of social media? Ground News. It's an app and website that gathers the world's news in one place and exposes the bias of every outlet. With Ground News, you can easily compare coverage across the political spectrum to achieve a more coherent understanding of a particular issue. Democracy cannot survive on blind loyalty and echo chambers. It requires independent thought and civil discourse. That is why Ground News is here and what it's all about. Use Ground News to keep informed about the Middle East or to find out more about labor strikes in your area. All kinds of things are covered. Expand your information base. Head to ground.news/Dollemore or just scan my QR code below to score 40% off the very same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use for this show. By signing up, you'll be supporting not one, but two independent platforms working to make media more transparent. Ground News and Dollemore, unlimit your knowledge with Ground News.